don't know why there's a sort of delay. I know it beeped. Just give it a few seconds.
Okay.
All right. We are on with Mayor. This is my on face.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Like I smile a little bit. We're on with Mayor Angie Devanney. We want to Devanney, right? I always got my A's are New Jersey. Like everything's got to be like.
It's like Devanney, like Fanny. Liza hates it when I say that, but that's what it rhymes with.
Devanney, like Fanny.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
official mayor's last name.
Yeah. I'm glad we were able to educate the public. So thank you I know you're super busy. It's the beginning of the year. Want to thank you for, obviously taking your time. You don't have to necessarily. I mean, I know it's worth it to meet with me.
I see her all the time, so yeah.
So let's just start off with quick question on the council meetings. Last night was relatively calm. Things seem to be kind of nice and easy. Is that going to be the name of the game for the year?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it. Everyone wants to collaborate and work together, and it's I think mostly just about service. I think everybody, you give a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time away from other things. So if you're not up there first to serve, probably not a good idea to be on the council.
I feel like there's been a shift almost in an opposite direction with both bodies, but I think with the town council, I mean, you see it during election time, but I think at least the narrative around the council in between elections have become far less political.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Our agenda, if you look at our agenda, I mean, it's 98% just doing government, right? It's the bill list, it's approving tax refunds, it's, professional services for things that we have to do, like roads and the sewer plant and that kind of thing. So, it just amazes me when, there is rancor, because there's not a whole lot of reason for rancor.
Right. Man, I'm coming across really shitty with the lighting, but you guys are having to tolerate it. So there's a few things I want to talk about. Laura, do you have anything on your agenda?
Specifically, no. I think I'm just going to interject. I feel like we're kind of starting the year off new. Nothing specifically, but I will chime in when necessary. All
right. I'd like to start off with Oprah. That's like a big deal, at least for me. And Laura, I think it's a big deal for you too.
Yes.
And we really, I at least appreciated, your letter to the state senators and all those folks in terms of kind of protecting aspects of that. And I know they held off on Oprah. I think a couple of things with it. The thing I worried about during that whole discussion, and I was partly to blame about that too, is that there was a big focus off of Oprah, which I think was also under the radar, the Open Public Meetings Act. And I think they were looking at reviewing that, and that is on a much less stronger footing than Oprah is. That's full of holes as it is. So I'm glad they kind of tabled the whole thing, and I don't expect a lot of an update from you or any really. I'm not sure if anything's happened, but what have you heard, and what have been some sort of thoughts you've had since that whole thing sort of ended?
Yeah, so I don't know what the update is. It was a little upsetting to see two major pieces of legislation being done or worked on during lame duck, or the expectation was that they were going to be passed during lame duck.
Right.
Because there wasn't a whole lot of time from, the election to when folks get sworn in, to really be transparent and, why did this come out of left field kind of thing. As explained to me by the legislative leadership, this was really to try to get rid of sort of these boutique industries that make a living off of Oprah, like, lawyers that will Oprah information from the police department about accidents and then try to go after those folks, to be clients. It went much farther than that, as you helped me sort of wade through all the information, and that's why I decided to chime in on it. We have to be transparent. We can't go backwards. I think, even with us, look, if I can provide a document or some information or go on a show like this and talk to people, I mean, it's well worth it in the end, to try to educate people and inform them as much as possible, because in the end, it just makes my life easier. Right. So,
yeah, I think that's true. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't get, I just feel like once you put the information out there, it becomes a conversation. It doesn't, I mean, you might have disagreements, but there's there isn't this anger that people feel about you trying to hide shit. You
Right.
know, like you can have a level discussion that's calmer, I think. You know, I think you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, sometimes, people ask, why we have a conference session, especially if something's really important that I know is going to get a lot of interest from the community. I'll let residents come up out of, it doesn't have to be citizens hearing per se, but come up and ask questions because, if we get all the information, the facts straight there, it's a whole lot better than everybody going behind their keyboard and saying things that, and you might spread misinformation. And I don't think anybody wants that either. So, not a super big update on Oprah, but it's something that I'm watching, and I think there were definitely some provisions in the bill that were anti-resident, and that's not what we're looking to do. It's not what I'm looking to do for sure.
Good. The next thing that's on the, and we're all trying to pick up kids too at like fucking.
Yes.
What? I didn't say the
Language.
whole word. I didn't say
Well,
the
you
whole
said
word.
it badly before. That's
We said
two.
fudge sickle. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
Fudge
that's what I
sickle.
said.
1.5 curse.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So the other thing that's that we've the whole Bell Labs, that's all out there. I mean, we've talked about that, but I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the CMS Field. And I sent a letter to you and the council and the BOE. This is back months ago, kind of expressing concerns about that. And then I think you came out with a letter to the editor, kind of explaining kind of where things were in terms of that. What's going on with that? Is that off the radar, or is that being discussed? What's happening with that project?
I would like to see it come back to the Board of Education at some point. The sticking point is liability. So we can't really move forward to say, this is what we're proposing. Does the board agree with us? Can we work together? I think it's a great legacy project. So, you know how I feel about it. I think we need more recreational facilities, and the county took over Snyder. And so we don't have a whole lot of authority over that facility. But the liability issue is, if the board owns the property and the town is, or the rec commission, I mean, the rec commission is an extension of the town, right? So if they're making the improvements and investing the money, and if somebody is playing football and there's a defect in the turf and they roll their ankle, who gets sued? So that's kind of the point where we're a little bit stuck. And I'm not sure how to get unstuck at this point.
The issue is I'm sorry, go ahead, Laura.
I just, for residents who are maybe just hearing about this for the first time, Angie, could you talk about, I guess, what land is Board of Ed property and what is township, and how this works together in some sort of collaborative process, or what would be the process? Just because I think a lot of people aren't aware that most of that property belongs to the Board of Ed. If you could just give a quick overview.
Yeah, it's tough. There might be a map on our website. If not, we'll try to get one up. It's tough. It's like something crazy, like maybe we own the property for one or two of our tennis courts, and the board, I mean, it literally just intersects in the middle of some of the playground area. That doesn't make any sense. You got to believe at some point land was donated, or there were tax lien issues, and it was sort of cobbled together, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The grassy area, if you will, that's Board of Ed property. I believe where the basketball courts is Board of Ed property. The Lower Columbia parking lot that really needs to be repaved is definitely Board of Ed property, because I complain to them about that all the time. And then there's just spotty areas where it's township property, which leads to that path that's been improved, which is actually the extension of a paper street on the other side, which is township property. And the roadway going down to Lower Columbia is township property. So it's from an ownership perspective, it's a mess.
Yeah. So how did that happen? Like, just somebody donated land and they just built shit over it without thinking about that, or like
I don't know. We've been trying to track that down a little bit. There was some old recreation archives and deeds and that kind of thing. I think it's a mixture of a lot of things. There might have been some tax lien issues, or donation. I don't know if you ever noticed, but the area adjacent to the basketball courts, it's actually green acres, which there's state restrictions on that, which makes it really interesting, right? So we don't know how much of that is like deed restricted for green acres. Something that has to be looked into. I believe that part is actually Board of Ed property as well. So somebody went and got Green Acres money at some point. Was it the town, or was it the Board of Ed? Likely the town, right? So the whole thing is kind of a mess. So when you look at the Lower Columbia, the proposed project there, And then the playground potential project, that's on hold. We did pull that off last night. It is a very significant grant. I'm skipping around. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's absolutely fine. Yeah, I was going to go there. Yeah.
So we somewhat recently, we have a grants company now, and they actually inform us to a lot more available grant funding than we've ever seen before. And if it's a significant grant or we've just got too much on our plate, they'll help us write the grant. So it's something that kind of came across our desks a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this point. And then the rec commission decided to try to go forward with it. It has a pretty big match. I think it was over $100,000. So we were going to see how our municipal budget sort of shook out to try to see if we could match that, given the fact that we have gotten federal appropriations and state appropriations for the sewer plant. And we were going to maybe try to swap out some capital to try to match the rec grant if we were even awarded. So that's kind of how that came to be.
So what happened to that? Like, what was the whole same thing in terms of liability and?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's, Board of Ed, there's got to be a collaboration. So it is Board of Ed property. There's liability issues. And frankly, there's a lot of steps in it. I think it's something that I would love to revisit for next year, because I think it's really important to have an all-inclusive playground. There's, kids that can't use that area, or, for any kid, kid without a disability, it'd be a little bit easier to have, a different type of apparatus, though, that would be easier for them to use. So I think it's a great mission.
Cool. So I guess there were, is it okay if I kind of go into other topics a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to the land. So this, so the land use ordinance, you heard me scream about that too. So why did that happen so the one thing that kind of pissed me off about that was it kind of felt like, I mean, in some ways it was and it wasn't, right? But it did feel, if I kind of felt like, why wasn't that talked about during the election season? Why did it hit the radar when it did? And was that more because we weren't paying attention? Was it more that like it was held? Like what was that about?
So I think it was sort of worked on off and on all year. And it really was something that was, listen, you've had two council people that were leaving council, and you always want to put your stamp on something on the way out the door and make sure that, you make your mark. And I think it was something that Jean wanted to see happen. She talked about it throughout the year. We did try to, I think over the summer, I think Jean and I tried to get, John Foster, that is, Jean Kingsley and I tried to get together to go over some of it. I think John and I may have. So I think it was just, maybe we sat back on everything a little too much. And then the deadline of Jean leaving council kind of was, spinning around, and that's kind of the push at the end. But I always look at it like we're amending ordinances now, historic preservation, we're going to amend seniors. You think you can craft this great legislation, and then when you get into the reality of something, you know that you have to go back and fix it. So I always come from the mindset of, yeah, we got through it, and maybe there aren't some things that are great that still need to be fixed, but they're fixable. We can always go back and fix some of the things that are bothersome.
I mean, we highlighted some of the things that we were concerned with. Well, my issue with, this ad nauseum, the signs. Dr. Farger doesn't want a disco next to his property. But the thing that
disco?
I don't know, didn't he get up and he said something about not wanting a tennis court or something? I don't know. I remember him saying. For you, what were some so I didn't look through that whole thing. Number one. Number two, I don't understand. The way some of that shit is written, I don't understand everything that's in it. For you, what are some of the bigger positives out of that ordinance that benefit residents directly?
So I think it's the same thing that we did a few months ago with the code, and that's consistency. It's been very frustrating, both from a zoning perspective and an administrative perspective. And the zoning has nothing to do with the change of government. When we changed the government back in 2007, both forms of government exist in our code, and we probably still need some cleaning up to do. So likewise, over years, decades, laws change, the town has changed, and the zoning therefore has changed. And there's been some inconsistencies within the code. So it's not, for me, I'm never I'm not a super granular person. I always like to look at the view at like 50,000 feet above. So for me, it's creating more consistency, less chance for appeals at the Board of Adjustment, less chance for a bad project to get through the planning board, less chance of, the council, the governing body having to approve, something because, we got stuck with it legally. So for me, that's kind of the attraction of trying to get, 75% of it right, maybe.
Good. Well, sorry, can I ask some more questions? Or?
Yeah, no, there's nothing.
So one thing I'm a little, you know me, I bitch all the time. One thing I'm annoyed with is that you had this lawyer. I forget the guy. He had a goatee. I gave Liza shit about this. I love that guy. So when Cy went up and like one of the council members interrupted her, he told that council and I haven't seen this in 5 years. He told that council member to be quiet and it's hard to listen. I love Cy, but sometimes, right? She could talk. But he jumped in and he I love, that guy was really solid. Why did you, I'm not saying this guy's bad. I don't know, but why did you get rid of that guy?
This guy has far more experience. We are definitely than the nice guy. I think that his forte is probably water and infrastructure law more than it is municipal law. I'm not sure how many, places where he actually sat as the municipal attorney, and the municipal attorney sort of tentacles touch everything. And, we've got some really heavy stuff going on, and we need somebody with a lot of experience. This person is a former Berkeley Heights resident. His children still live here. And I think that anytime you can add that, that's value added. For any professional or staff person, I think your heart's in it a lot more. And I'm full of heart, so those things I value. I
mean, can he make a guest appearance once in a while, that guy?
He was there.
Leave it alone. Why are you playing favorites? Stop
I missed the guy.
That guy. Are you okay? So you're talking about Alex, right? Yeah. When we have water issues, he can come hang out with us.
But I want him to go up there. I want him to tell the council members to be quiet.
Okay, well, you know what? Maybe you should come and just tell the council members to be quiet.
Oh, that's
please don't.
Yeah,
I
accept your invitation.
So Alex, the attorney that you like.
Yeah, that's the guy I like.
Is actually looking for a house in Berkeley Heights, so you might see him at Stop and Shop. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And then you'll get your fill of Alex, and then you'll be happy again.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Maybe you could do the BOE too.
Yeah.
All right. Anything? I think I'm good. I mean, this was a short interview because I think we covered a lot with Liza, which I think you probably would have been redundant with anyway.
Yeah.
And these were the things that I felt like I needed to ask about. Is there anything that you felt you needed to say, Mayor? Is there anything that you felt like?
The only thing I'll add is I know the people, maybe they're watching it, maybe they're not, but the governor did come last week to sort of walk through Nokia. Some of the things that we're talking about, there is a buyer on Nokia's end. They have.
Oh, there is.
Well, they have not approached us, so I don't have that information at this point. This is what I've been told, third party. So we did talk about some potential uses and going out and trying to attract some bigger end users. So one of the things that we are going to do, and I think you'll love this, John, is that we're going to do visioning meetings. So before we.
That's good. Like you're going to listen to people and shit. Good.
We're gonna get $50,000 from the state of New Jersey.
Well, no, I mean I know that sounds weird, but like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, about what's been going on the last. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're gonna get $50,000 of planning money, and we're gonna have these visioning meetings. So as soon as we get the grant money in the door, we'll schedule them, and people can come out and give us their feedback and. Look, and maybe people have some really out of the box ideas, and maybe there's a developer, somebody out there who's in that industry, like artificial intelligence came up with the governor. There's one organization that's moving and growing into New Jersey, and there's only one, so there's opportunity for us there. And then sort of the life science model. There's been a lot of movement in New Jersey on that as well. So,
How
fingers
do you think
crossed.
Murphy did?
How do I think he did?
Yeah, generally, like what grade would you give the guy?
I give him an A- because number one, he called me the day after the news broke and was like apologetic. That's not how I should have found out as the mayor, right? As a community. And then two, he followed up and set up the meeting with the EDA. He came himself. I don't know that the governor goes to a small town mayor very often and says, I'm going to be here and I'm going to help. And look, if we have a good user, you know, the state can come in as an equity partner, which is something interesting. You know, and that's a pretty significant commitment. They committed to, look, if we need to, lobbing off parts of the property for roadway improvements, infrastructure improvements, the DOT, DCA. You know, that's a pretty committed governor for, you know, I'm not Elizabeth, I'm not Jersey City, I'm not, you know,
that's true. That is true.
Camden, you know, so I give them an A-.
All right, cool. I don't have my multiple screens, so I can't end with like a cool video.
Oh God, please no. I have one more question.
Okay,
What?
go ahead.
So I know recently, just being in the schools with the kids, we have a lot of families coming to the school, and I know that you recently just launched 2 new committees within the township. I guess as a general kind of PSA, you know, what's the best way for people to get involved? Is there kind of a general sense of time commitment that you're looking for? Because I think more and more people are, you know, post-pandemic, I think people are still really tuned into what's going on in all their local governing bodies. And I think the best thing for people to do is to get involved in some capacity. So take it away.
Yeah, so on our website, there's a committee application, and you can also read about the committees that we added were the Veterans Affairs Committee. And we actually have veterans serving on that committee. I think, you know, Steve Mondragon, he's going to be one of our newest members.
yeah.
So I'm super excited about that. And then the other one is the Mayor's Wellness Committee. And this is just very personal to me. Mental, physical health, nutrition, they're all tied together. I think mental health is the most important thing we can be talking about. Organizationally, that when our employees and our residents are happy, the whole world functions a lot better. So we're really going to, and there are a lot of great groups like the YMCA, the Rotary. People are doing this, but they're not doing it as like one total unit where, you know, you get, if we all do yoga together on a, you know, in May for Mental Health Awareness Month, right? And we're getting that social connection, and we're getting that physical exercise, and we're getting that mindfulness. It's a great thing to do. So yeah, go to the website, there's an application, or just come be a part of the event. I'm not of the mindset there's got to be 9 people on the committee and only 9 people can be in the room. Just come be a part of the planning if you want to. Be a volunteer at an event. There's plenty of events that go on, all kinds of events. We had the Black History Month flag raising, and we had a whole, you know, handful of volunteers put that together. So if that's something you're interested in, you know, whatever it is that you feel passionate about, like reach out to me. I'm very responsive on email. And we'll connect you somehow.
Cool. All right. Anything else, Laura? You want to keep going? You've been hogging the whole show. Okay. All right. Well, Mayor.
Well, I'm upset that I didn't get the rapid speed question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you pissed off a lot of Norwegians the last time. I don't know if you remember your answer to that question of who your favorite Norwegian poet was.
Was it John Leo?
Yeah, and people I mean, I don't know. You're gonna have to work to get that vote back.
Oh man, good thing I have like 3 more years, right?
The Berkeley Heights Norwegian community
very, very upset.
Was livid.
What's Karen, Laura? What's she's
Finnish.
Yeah, okay.
Finland.
Dang. All right. I thought I had it. I thought I had
She's
it.
what, Thane? What's Thane? What's Thane mean?
What?
Thane? She's Thane?
Finnish.
Oh, Finnish. I thought like Thane. I thought that was like, is this some sort of old English way of describing? Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Secret underground
language.
Group. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I should have done like, so the reason I'm not like, I'm ill prepared is like, I'm kicked out. My wife has meetings downstairs. I'm like jerry rigged in the dining room, basically.
All right. Well, the next time I want the rapid, like I thought it was great when you said, are you ready for an invasion from Canada? I'm like, absolutely. I have a moose in my garage. I mean, I was on top of it.
Yeah, but no one believed that either.
Oh, come on. Come to my garage and check it out before you discount my, my veracity here. Come on.
That's true. All right. Next time I will have a speed question thing, and I will have a video, an inappropriate video that coincides with the subject matter.
Okay.
And maybe we should have a true Norwegian.
We could do that.
And you know what? I'll have a representative from the Norwegian community.
Okay.
Confront you on your
like a Maury Povich show.
Yeah.
I can also just send you like the video of me dancing like with my hair up and no makeup on, shake it off, and I sent Laura over the weekend.
I got that.
Yeah, send that. We can add that to the video.
All right.
Yeah.
You would like
All
that. Yeah.
I can
I look
send
pretty
that.
goofy.
All right, Mayor, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'll see
Yeah.
you guys
Really appreciate
Bye.
you taking your time.
at any time, guys.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.